Hey, but what's up? UltraMag64 here, and today, guys, I have to admit, I am really excited about what I've got in this box right here. Now, I know what you're thinking, man, Magnus is doing a lot of unboxings. Has this turned into an unboxing channel? No, it hasn't. This just happened to come right after I did my Octopath the other day, and I was like, you know what? I just can't. Like, right now, I can't wait. So I was originally going to wait until this was like, I don't know, sometime later this week. I was hoping it would come out, you know, next week, or come to me next week. But no, it did not, and I'm excited. So if you're in the present, I guess everyone's in the present, aren't they? Anyway, you know what's already in this, but I have not experienced it yet. So that's what we're gonna do today. Is we're gonna open this thing up. So, I gotta admit, I don't know that much about Duck and Cover. I know that Fallout Equestria has had a lot of spin-offs from the original franchise, most popular being Murky Number 9, I believe it was called, or Murky Number 99? Something Murky Number whatever. The Adventures of Puppy Smiles, aka Pink Eyes, and Project Horizon as well. And those are kind of the main ones I know of. I didn't actually know that much about Duck and Cover before this arrived. So if you don't know what Duck and Cover is, I'll give you a brief rundown. But also, I do want to mention this is made by the same people that brought us that wonderful Fallout Equestria hardbound book that I featured on the channel last time. So expect that same quality. I can't seem to get the book out. There's the book. It's stuck. Did it. Out of my way. Nothing will stand in my way of this book. So, obviously the book is not nearly as thick as the Fallout Equestria original that we got. It is also not the same type of thing. Like, it's not got gold pages and all of that. It is basically a normal book, but the pages feel nice. I don't know what it's made of. I imagine just, you know, your standard parchment paper, but anyway, one thing I do have a problem with, and this one doesn't seem like it'll have that same issue, but on the Fallout Equestria book, because it was black, and because it's made of this same kind of material, I don't know what this is, but the problem with it was that it got dirty really fast, and like I was afraid to bring it anywhere because I'm like, good gravy, this thing is going to be ruined. And I don't want that, obviously. It's a beautiful, fabulous dust cover. And the dust cover just got really dirty really fast. It also held onto oil really well. Like, scarily well. I was like, I can't even touch this thing with my puny mitts. What am I supposed to do with my life? And that's when I decided to do the digital copy, which I'm hoping the same people, if you're watching this, you might be watching this person that does the digital versions of these, get in contact with me. I want the digital version of Duck and Cover. I want this version now, so I can take it with my Kindle. Please, give it to me now. But anyway, this is fabulous. Granted, I don't have that much info on it, and this isn't the same kind of quality as, say, the other you know, Fallout Equestria. This is not that kind of thing. It's not kind of a celebration. It's another one that you can add to your collection, which I'm quickly gaining. And I really hope they release Project Horizon next, because I want that in my life. And also, I want Murky Number whatever I was talking about. I'm gonna probably put text up, but regardless, this is fabulous. Granted, I do miss some of the niceties with the previous book. The ribbon bookmark was a nice thing to have. I love this cover art, by the way. I don't know who's doing this cover art, but it's fabulous. Like, Seriously, wonderful, wonderful cover art. And then on the back here, it's just fabulous. I love the dust cover on this. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So this is it without the dust cover, which still looks nice. Still very, very nicely done. But I love this art. So I'm going to keep it, regardless if it holds fingerprints or not. We'll never know. But one thing I'm kind of surprised by is that there's no chapter artwork for this book. There's not going to be any chapter artwork, which is sad because that was one of the main things I loved about the Fallout Equestria book. And granted, no, actually, they did have that in the Puppy Smiles book. They did have a few illustrations scattered about. I think they were on every chapter. It's been a bit since I've read Puppy Smiles' little escapades in the Wasteland, so I'm not exactly 100% remembering correctly, probably. But I'm pretty sure they had a decent number of illustrations in it. Which, again, kind of sad. I'm not sure how much more popular, or how popular, Duck and Cover is compared to, some of the other Fallout Equestria spin-offs. I love Fallout Equestria. I am the Fallout Equestria guy. You want Fallout Equestria stuff? Come to me! I do it all the time! Good gravy. And the good news is I've been in a Fallout mood. I've been wanting, I've not exactly been hyped for 76, I'm not gonna lie, but I am getting that Fallout itch, and 76 is in my sights. I am ready for that. But this will tide me over until, the fall when 76 comes out. So yeah, no, I am very, very excited to read this. It's always a pleasure to get a lot of these fandom works in physical form. I've actually joined a really, really cool community. I'll try and link their Discord down below. But it's a community of the not only the prints of these, but also a entire book printing community where they share a lot of your other works and whatnot. I think one that I missed out on, which was sad, because it was totally my fault. I had a link to it, and then I just forgot. I kept putting it off, and then I was like, darn it, I missed my chance. It was I think Sunny Days, which was another one of these kind of books, and it's wonderful looking. And I know Past Sins as well, I think, is getting a reprint as well. But I really, really, really can't stress how much I adore the fact that a work of something so polar opposite as Fallout mixed with My Little Pony has traction and is so good. Granted, this is 2 books in one. I believe it's Duck and Cover and then the other sequel to Duck and Cover, I think. Yeah, Duck and Cover and Make Love Not War. They're both in this. This is one complete collection, which is really nice. And like I said, I know that a lot of people miss out on these book printings because they're not a freak like me and follow it like crazy. Literally, this is my lifeline. I need them all. But it's really, really nice to see, the fan fictions kind of become their own beasts and get these physical prints where it's it's basically the definitive edition to enjoy this fan fiction. I'm not much of a fanfic reader, I'll be honest, but I always will take the time to read a Fallout fanfic because I love these darn things. They are fabulously well written 95% of the time, and they are just really, really a blast to read. A nuclear blast. I had to put it in there. I had to make a joke sometime. But anyway, guys, I'm Ultramag64. If you want to check out Fallout Equestria, Duck and Cover, and also Fallout Equestria, Make Love Not War, I will leave links in the description down below for both the fanfics, and I will also attempt to find an ebook version if there is such a thing out there. I'm not sure if there is, but if I find it, you'll be the first to know. But anyway, guys, I'm Ultramag64. Remember, smooth skins? Whenever you're in the Fallout Wasteland, make sure you arm yourself with knowledge. And happy gaming. I'll catch you guys on the flip side with more crazy content in the future. Bye-bye.
Chapter 1. War occasionally changes. War sometimes changes. I mean, it must have changed at some point, right? I somehow doubt Ponykind always had the ability to turn the entirety of Equestria into that charred stuff at the bottom of a barbecue. We probably don't have it now either. Otherwise, we'd just be blitzing it all the time. Where was I going with this? Man, if this wasn't the most pretentious fucking way to start off a story. Start with an Aesop about the brutality of war? That'll go down a treat. The hell with that. You're here to hear my story, not hear me spout nihilistic crap about genocide or whatever. You've probably heard about stables, right? Those big bunkers with corporate-run social experiments that usually resulted in everyone inside dying or going insane? Shoddily disguised as bellfire shelters. Now that I think about it, there's not a lot of stable about them. The big metal door at the front locked shut like a bank vault to keep the precious life inside safe in the event of everything going tits up. Vault seems an awful lot more descriptive. It sounds like stable was some marketee's crap that a pre-war advertising agency came up with to try and sell the concept of spending the rest of your life in a hole in the ground to a retarded public. But whatever. Everyone calls them stables. So in the interests of clarity, I'm going to stick with that. I'm Adam Smasher, and I was born in stable 512. The funny thing about stable 512 is that it was so far down the list of stables to be built that you can barely think of it as a stable at all. Sure, it's a bunch of tunnels they managed to plate the walls and floors, but there's panels missing everywhere. Half the life support systems have never worked, and the outer door was never finished. Seriously, the only things standing between stable 512 and the Mareside wasteland are two regular locked doors. It mostly did the trick, I guess. Because as long as I've been down there, we've never had anything nasty get in. But I'll get back to that top-notch security later. I have to talk about me some more. I can only guess that I got my name, Adam Smasher, from being colored like a radiation hazard sign. You can see me coming from a mile off. Fucking safety orange coat and bright green mane. I came to embrace being lit up like a heartwarming tree by genetics. Everyone down in the stable were just so dreary and morose all the time. I mean, can you blame them when they're all like gray and brown and shit? Sucks to be them. I guess it behooves me. These puns keep coming, I'm just going to strangle myself. To say what I did in the stable. All these stable dwellers that fall out of their cozy little cots and manage not to shit themselves for long enough to survive 10 minutes in the wasteland are always like, I was a stable marriage counselor. I was a hairdresser. I was a pit bug technician. We have to remember that stable 512 is probably the least stable that had ponies living in it. Fuck, there's another pun. There wasn't any formal settling in it or anything like that. A bunch of ponies just ducked inside when the shit hit the fan and waited for it all to blow over. And rough and ready as it was for the longest time, it was still better in the stable than it was up top. There were some plans around for things like social organization, pit bugs, stuff like that. But ponies are fucking stupid. They tried going on like they had before, just in the environment of a stable. Immediately, all the farmer-type ponies were out of a job, because all the food came from machines. Not 10 minutes into the apocalypse, and already there's an unemployment crisis. And it's not like ponies are good at upskilling either. They've got their destiny pictured on their butt. So whenever they try to do something else, they're like, But, this isn't my special talent! And get all depressed. Then we have the staggering shortage of mechanic types. There was maybe one pony who had to keep all the life support systems going at the start. And there wouldn't be more until the first generation of foals were born in the stable. Then there was a complete disregard for proper operating procedure of a stable. There was a coop or two by security. The fact that the jumpsuit dispensers didn't stitch a number in, so someone had the job of sewing 512 into everyone manually. And oh, it was just a mess. Still better than the wasteland though. So because of this unique stable circumstance, I didn't really have a proper job. I had a talent, alright. Ever since I was 12, I had that Adam from the Ducking Cover magazines on my ass. And the stable has had unisex bathrooms, but blowing shit up doesn't have any applications in a long-term bomb shelter. In fact, some sensible soul thought it would be a good idea to make grenades and dynamite scarce after this. And I had to make do with cherry bombs and Nerf guns to amuse myself. In hindsight, the logical thing to do would have been to just kill me. But they probably couldn't bring themselves to kill a filly. Spot the stable dwellers, eh? Anyway, now you have the late teenage me with a dwindling supply of cherry bombs and a Nerf gun trying to find something to do. I was as depressed as a peach farmer watching their dinner being squirted out of a converted ice cream machine. I ended up doing a lot of exploring. The thing about the stable is that after a while, ponies just stopped going to certain places. The layout wasn't confirmed when they moved in, so ponies just set things up along paths of least resistance. There were whole wings of the place that hadn't been touched for decades when I found them. I could blast off there and not be heard, which it's not as fulfilling as turning the overseer's chair into a moon rocket, but it's a vent. But this was hardly the most important thing about my exploration. Gosh, I would have been like 19 or so when I found the stable's front door. Or rather, the doorway. It had taken me a couple of weeks to find a way to get through the last two doors. Those two locked doors I was telling you about earlier. Cherry bombs don't cut it on a blast door, and there isn't a normal door lock to pick. So it was a right pain in the ass. But I did it. After all this trying, I got this second door to unlock, and I spent a full 2 minutes just shoving and bucking at it to get the rusty old thing to open. And when it finally twisted off its hinges, I got hit with a wave of cold, wet air. I mean, most of the air in the stable is cold and wet, but it's also clammy and recycled. This was weirdly fresh, but probably radioactive. But Stable 512 had maybe 2 working pit bucks, ever, and 1 Geiger counter besides. The thing on my foreleg was a bit of scrap metal with a sticker on it. I'm not sure how happy those peach farmers were to find that the stable had a fully functional printer and stacks upon stacks of sticker paper. But all the food was artificial nutrient goop. Did I just spend a paragraph on walking through a door? If that's how this is going to go, and then this is going to be a really long story. So I break down this door and I'm into the hallway of the stable. You could call it that. And the big steel door is just not there. It's not like it was opened and someone forgot to close it. It was just never put in place. Maybe someone stole it? If they wanted a gigantic piece of scrap metal to melt down for something. But hey, never assume malice when stupidity will suffice. I have more faith in the incompetence of stable tech than the integrity of wastelanders. Marveling at the staggering oversight of the construction, I headed out, kicking the skull of some unfortunate latecomer as I went. Beyond where the stable door should have been was a rickety little wooden door with some chicken wire across it, with bright light filtering through. I ran through a quick checklist in my head. Trusty Nerf gun sidearm? Check. Cherry bombs? Ooh, the last one trying to get the door open. Trepidation at leaving a familiar world behind for a dangerous new one? Completely absent. Nobody in the whole ever cared about me, and I never cared about them. Not that I was that angsty or poetic about it at the time. I was mostly just like, oh, what's out there?